Tom Vadakkan and Ashutosh Mishra continue to be with us. Tom Vadakkan, that's the question many are asking today, that if Chinese apps are being banned, that if we want to reduce our dependency on Chinese goods, then what is the logic behind this deal?
Swati, there is an important ingredient in diplomacy. That is, there's no permanent friends or no permanent enemies. There are only permanent interests, and that too national interests. Now let me tell you, NAVAC is India's indigenous tracking and positioning system under India's satellite constellation exclusively. We are still to achieve more in this sector, but once a flight service starts, it will compete with the rest of the GIS and the system of the GPS systems. There will be two, one will be civilian and one for defense. OPPO is the company in question, will provide certain support in elements of R&D only for civilian use. I repeat, only for civilian use, and which will be primarily implemented. There are two uses, one is civilian use and one is for defense services. Under the Atmanirbhar Bharat, the whole system from satellites to end receivers used by customers or apps on phones will be produced in India. Defense connections will be encrypted and will be completely developed by the defense organization. I'm making very fundamentals clear at this point. The most important point in OPPO is providing only messaging services for the whole mapping framework. The framework consists of lots of modules. Just the messaging module on R&D is supported by OPPO. The key data and database with live data for static orbital satellites will be held safe by ISRO. A layman example of such a thing would be OPPO providing just one metal component for a whole car.
Mr. Vadakkan, I heard you, and you said there are no permanent friends or foes in diplomacy. Whatever happens, it happens in the interest of the nation. National security is paramount. If that's the reason, then aren't transgressions by the Chinese the biggest threat to national security? Aren't we exposing China's hegemony on international platforms, and then we ban their apps and then go ahead and sign a deal with OPPO, their tech giant? What kind of a message does that send?
That is not about messaging. The essential question here is, we haven't signed a MOU with a Chinese political party. OPPO is a company, we have signed, record available in public domain. As to the question of this is part of an Atmanirbhar Bharat, we need it for oceans where there's communication missing. Where the Chinese, this company has certain tie-ups with satellites which provide this data. We need it to develop our own GPS. Now, to say that you have a problem on the border, we are talking, we are in dialogue with them, we are not in war. We did not have a 1962 war going on.
That's
yes,
interesting.
There is a problem.
That's interesting. In this case, it is about messaging, Tom Vadakkan. Under the agreement, that is what is happening. Let me bring in Ashutosh Mishra. It's only for civilian use, so why are you so alarmed and riled up? It's only to give you accurate information about navigation and to prepare an end-to-end application, specific solutions by integrating the NAVIC messaging service.
So, Mr. Vadakkan was talking about permanent friends and foes. Sadly for India, Narendra Modi is a permanent friend of China. We will all, we should not forget, he is the person who defended China even during Galwan clash. He said there has been no intrusion from Chinese forces.
You went and signed an MOU with China.
What is the weak point that China has on Mr. Modi that he needs to be told every time?
Which side do you stand?
Are you allowed to by all over the world
are you
boycotted because they give spyware.
country, not my,
Mr.
not
Vadakkan
clients.
obviously is not unable to understand that now its data will be available, China will have access, and China is known for planting spyware. So to say that they will have only
Mr. Tom Vadakkan, Mr. Tom Vadakkan, respond to that. Was there no other tech giant of any other nation that could have provided us this service? Why only China?
Is that question for me?
Yes.
See, essentially, we looked at the services being given by different companies. OPPO happens to be that company which was handling the messaging, and they have certain tie-ups with certain satellite companies. And that is the lead that led to this. And this is about strengthening India. The GPS system, we are going to be international competitors.
And that GPS system is being created
and that
because
is not an MOU signed by your party.
The US denied
The MOU that is signed by your party. Are you a spokesman for China? Are you a spokesman for China? According to the MOU signed,
and today
can you bring a white paper on the MOU you signed with China? This is only one company we are dealing with.
People of India that your bending
You have
before
signed
China
a political
is in national
MOU, which is almost a death warrant for this country. You have signed.
China is number one. China is known to plant spyware.
With China,
You are
which has
telling
no
us that there will be no spyware.
nobody knows
Then
what
why all
what is there.
from why not
You can
say
go and
why
get
your
rattled
jewelry
about
being
it.
boycotted
The fact
all
of the
over
matter
from 5G
is, we
services?
signed a deal that is
Don't
transparent.
think
It's
that
with
the
a
public
company
is so dumb
and
that
not
they doesn't
with
understand.
Okay.
You are
the
afraid
state of
that
China.
you ask they can spy on us.
Okay,
But
gentlemen, that's all the time I have for the debate. Mr. Tom Vadakkan will continue to be with us. Ashutosh Mishra, thank you for joining us. Taking a short break.